Hi, I'm Ann White. I'm a transformational author and speaker, and I'd like to share with you my story that's going to be in an anthology called Pebbles in the Pond, Transforming the World One Person at a Time. This book is released or will be released May 20th of 2012. And my story in this anthology is called You Can't Make an Omelet Without Breaking the Egg. And in my story, I share some very private things. I share about my sexual and emotional abuse as a child. I rarely talk about this, but I feel it's important to share this because it is from our brokenness that we can create wholeness. And especially when we are broken, we have the teacher and the tool and the ability to create wholeness. So let me share my story with you. Each night, I walk into the trauma unit of our busy hospital, and I am amid blood and other bodily fluids, broken bodies and shattered dreams, prayers for the dying, for the living, and for miracles. And as I sit with those who are devastated by these sudden losses, I am sometimes reminded of my own earlier brokenness as I merge my spirit with theirs to provide solace and to soothe their troubled souls. We are all broken in one way or another. The planet is broken. The universe explodes frequently in chaos only to form new creations. Chaos and creation are part of that universal rhythm. After all, you can't make an omelet without breaking the egg. So the breaking of the egg, let me share my brokenness. 10 years after my mother died of hypochondria, my father told me that he was not really my father. From that point on, the life that I thought was mine disintegrated, like burning paper with memories floating away in the wind. I never really liked my father, and I guess since he knew the secret, he never liked me very much either. So in some sense, it was a relief to know that I was not biologically connected to this man who had abused me until I was old enough to keep out of the house, probably at about age 14. My mother knew of this abuse, and I always wondered why she never protected me or tried to stop it. I guess because of the secret. She felt it was his prerogative to take his anger out on me. It was either me or her, and she chose me. I've come to believe that most families are dysfunctional, so I don't claim any award for the dysfunction of my own. My mom did some mom things. She sure did. We made fudge together. We played hearts together. We would cut out paper dolls out of newspaper. But she was never really able to guide me in the positive ways of the world. And obviously, neither was my dad. When I was in my early 20s, my life came crashing down all around me, and I came to a crossroad, either life or death. And I told myself that if I chose life, it had to be a rich and full and vibrant life, not just an existence. And I knew right then and there that I had to nurture and teach myself, since no one else would do it. I had to create my life as though I were making a work of art or a mighty fine omelet. So let's talk about the omelet in the making. What did I discover when I began to create this luscious life? That it all boils down to the concept of one. This is how I also understand the drama in the trauma of my job as a trauma chaplain. We are all parts of a great oneness. And let me explain, because there are a lot of little ones that go into this great one. I came to believe in a power greater than myself, a power greater than all of us, greater than everything, and a power that embodies everything. Call this power God, Spirit, Energy Source. Heck, call it Bob for all I care. It doesn't make a difference what we call it. Just know that it is, and that it has a rhythm and a flow, and an order and a goodness. All of life flows from this energetic field or source. When we get disconnected from this source, we feel alienated and alone. Evil and meanness are offshoots, which are a product of this disconnection from this source. We come to earth and earth bodies from this source. And what makes us unique and gives us personality is our spirit or our energy, and that is derived from the source. We come to earth to learn lessons or to teach them, for reasons or for seasons. And when our work is complete and our lessons are learned or taught, Our earth bodies are worn out, and it is time for our spirit to return back to the source. It's time for it to go home. Actually, during our earthly lives, we should attempt to remain connected to this source, to this flow. Alienation, depression, greed, corruption, and those sort of negative feelings happen if we become disconnected. Many religions acknowledge this great oneness. In the Jewish tradition, the main prayer is called the Shema, and it ends with, "The Lord is one." Now, certainly Hebrews knew how to say there is only one God. That would be a statement of monotheistic faith. But instead, they said, "The Lord is one." And what I think they are telling us is that everything is interconnected in the oneness. And it is from this prayer, "The Lord is one," that I came to my belief of the non-duality of the universe. It is not God versus humans, nor humans versus God. It's all one. We are part of the great Godness. Now, this is a very simple philosophy, and yet when you truly feel it, and you understand how powerful it is, then you understand the meaning of life. There's a Sanskrit word called namaste. It's a prayer, and it teaches us a way to practice this belief. It means that the divine within me acknowledges and recognizes and honors that beautiful divine within you. What if every person in the planet practiced this? Can you imagine the power of love and respect that would lift us up and circle the entire planet? If we are all one, created from the same stuff, why do we hate? How can we even hate ourselves if we come from the glorious source of this energy? If we find ourselves disconnected, alienated and alone, or even just grumpy, what are we to do? How are we to get reconnected with this divine flow? Well, the first thing we must do is make atonement. Oh, not atonement for our sins, but for being disconnected from the source. Sin and atonement are very loaded words, so roll with me on this one. Follow me a little bit. I think the only sin is not to realize the power and the grandeur of our interconnectedness and not to value the life-giving and sustaining energy that we can derive from the source. And when I think of atonement, I think of it as at-one-ment. If you break it down, at-one-ment. We must become one again. So if we ever become disconnected, we must get back to our at-one-ment. Now I imagine you're probably thinking, oh sure, that's easier said than done. And I agree with you. But it's something also that we have the power to do if we practice. And if we practice, it becomes part of our nature. So let's savor the perfect omelet, and let me share with you some of my practice tips for when I find myself disconnected from this divine source. 1, step outside. Certainly God is everywhere, but sometimes we forget. Stepping outside into nature is one sure way to get godsmacked into seeing the incredible beauty and power of the divine. If I ever find myself in a concrete jungle, I look for life around me. Maybe a bird will fly by, or a plant or a weed will sprout through the asphalt and turn its head toward the sun. And I think, look at that urge to live, that life-sustaining power. So connect with life and breathe it in, and know that you too have this strength, this beauty, and this power. 2, the biggest reconnector for me, because I'm painfully shy, is to greet every single person I meet during the day. Sure, many will walk right past me, but I connect with enough people to bring me back into connection with the source, and hopefully to help them connect with their source as well, to help them know they are not isolated, that they are one, that there is a namaste between us. 3, spend time with animals. Adopt a rescue pet. Until they all have homes, please adopt a rescue pet. And look into their eyes and know that you are connected. And let them teach you the beauty of unconditional love. 4, listen. Listen to the quiet. Listen to the sounds of nature. Listen, truly listen when someone is talking to you. 5, sit in meditation or prayer and breathe in divine energy and let it fill your soul. 6, look at challenges, obstacles, and heartbreaks as life's teachers Learn from them. Find the silver lining in every cloud. 7. Do random acts of kindness. I actually tithe to the planet. I set about 10% of my money, and instead of giving it to a house of worship, I return it to the source that gave me my life. And I see far more benefit than I ever did with traditional tithing. I will randomly give my co-workers a gift card for a cup of coffee or tea. I'll donate to animal shelters that preserve life. Bake something to take into the office, or bring flowers to a neighbor or a shut-in. Feed the homeless, or give them money so they can feed themselves or get what they need to sustain themselves. Once the money leaves my hands, it is theirs to do with as they choose. Send a card for no particular reason. There are so many small gestures that we can do each day to stay connected, and I promise by doing them, we energize our own happiness as well as sharing that energy with another human being or sentient being. And lastly, practice the smaller ones, such as one breath, one moment, one day. Live in the moment and know that every breath we take, every sunrise, every sunset is a blessing. That's one of my biggest lessons I've learned in trauma, is that every breath we take is a gift and every sunrise is a blessing. Never waste your time becoming complacent. Practice goodness and godness, living in the one breath, one act of kindness, one hug, one love, to attain inner and outer peace. Use the healing of your brokenness to connect to the source, making not only the perfect omelet, but an awesome life. I share this with you from my heart to yours. I wish you a beauty in your day. And namaste.